afternoon, everybody. In this short clip, we're going to cover the first in a series of Americano's core skills. That's going to be our stances. Now, the thing to understand about stances is that stances are not a static platform. They are not a place that you fight from. Stances are simply snapshots, moments, points of reference in your overall movement. They describe where your weight is. They can describe the position your feet are in. You'll find stances taken from that viewpoint very heavily in the Chinese and Japanese martial arts. Now, what we do differently in Americano is we do not necessarily focus on the feet. Seems kind of counterintuitive, but we are a weapons-based martial art. So the weapon is our primary concern. So what I'm going to do is go through our three basic positions that you're going to find yourself or your opponent in with a weapon. First we're going to cover is the forward stance. The key thing that indicates a forward stance is that the weapon is forward of the body. It is reaching out. Now the feet, typically, your weapon side leg is forward. However, you can just as easily be in a forward stance with the legs reversed. We don't have the luxury of figuring out perfect foot placement. So we like to start from the beginning, understanding that our feet are going to be where our feet are going to be, depending on the terrain. Now I'm on a nice flat surface here. There's not a lot of roots or branches or concrete or broken bottles or things that can trip over. So in that respect, this is a very safe environment. But it's not a closed-in bar, it's not a street corner, it's not a place where you're going to get into a conflict. So the feet become less important in the overall picture. Now, as opposed to the front stance, we also have the back stance. The back stance, the weapon is withdrawn. Now, you'll see the back stance much more commonly against with people that aren't trained. This is a very natural, instinctual kind of movement. Caveman simple, stick come up, stick come down, caveman crash. Easy as can be. It is one of humanity's very first combative movements. And we call this a back stance. Again, weapon is back. Foot position does not matter. And third and finally, we have a middle stance or a grappling stance. In this case, our weapon, be it a stick, a knife, a bottle, what have you, some form of lever. We tend to split the difference. Our weight is more centralized. Our knees tend to be bent even more, and our weapon tends to float in this middle area. This gives us the ability to react quickly in any direction, shoot forward, shoot backward, crash into our opponent, do all sorts of things from this very stable, easily movable platform. So let me review one more time. This is a forward stance. This is a backward stance. This is a middle or grappling stance. Think about this. Think about this in a logical way and try to understand why we look at it from this viewpoint as opposed to in a traditional martial art like, say, karate, where you have a fighting stance dictated on your position of everything. Remember, stances are just moments in time, points of reference, pauses almost in the action that happens. If you get too hung up on stance, you never even get into the fight. So you have to deal with things from where you are. And since we're dealing with weapons, we want to focus on the position that the weapon is in. Is the weapon forward? Is the weapon back? Or is it somewhere in the middle? Y'all take care. And this is part of, like I said, a continuing series. This is the first one covering the Calice Americano core skills. And we will have plenty more as I go through the core skill curriculum. And hopefully soon we'll have more people that can take part in these demos as restrictions lighten up due to COVID. And we'll hope to see you all around next time. And as always, if you haven't, like, subscribe, you know the deal. Have a good one.